Hey, this is Charles Blair, the mad scientist, with Mastermind student Frank Olate-10. Talk to me, Frank. How you doing, my day, brother?
I'm doing fine, Charles. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I don't have your hand, man. I mean, talking about these deals you're working on, you're closing. I wish I had your hand today.
Well, thank you. I guess it's all from your mastermind mentorship. I appreciate it.
Hey, you're too kind, man. You're too kind. I want you to give people a sense of exactly who is Frank Olate-10.
Frank Olate-10 is a part-time investor. Also work a full-time job. I sell and manufacture granite quartz silestone. So I guess also I have kids. So my free time, I try to make sure I'm doing the real estate as far as, trying to wholesale, transaction engineer, some kind of deal.
You know, I like that word. You just caused the hair on my arm to stand up. What was that word again?
Transactional engineer.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Now, let's talk about this most recent deal you closed. This was a subject to deal, right?
Yes, this was a subject to deal. This was a deal I had gotten from a postcard mailer, and I didn't know if this was a deal or not. I talked to the homeowner. Then after that, I talked to you, and then you told me what strategy to use, which I was very happy about because I had no clue on what to do.
Yeah, this deal is one of those deals where you look at and you say, okay, there's money here. There's some equity here. The seller was highly motivated. What was going on with the seller that made him so motivated?
It was a death in the family. Her husband died, and he was the majority breadwinner in the house. So, she was just looking for a way to sell. She was already contemplating it, but she just knew everything was overwhelming. She had car payments that was, also overwhelming her. So she couldn't do both. So she had to finally find a way to sell the house, and she contacted me.
So this was contacted from a postcard, right?
Yes, a postcard mailer.
Now, for those of you who are thinking that, wow, postcards don't work anymore, man, you got to do cold calling. Man, you do not just have to do cold calling. You have to have marketing strategies that are working, and direct mail and postcards still work. You need to know how to strategically use them. What does that postcard look like? You got a copy of that postcard you sent out?
Yes. I don't know if you can. Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's one of those we buy houses guys.
Yeah, and then it's the back.
Okay, man. Thank you for showing that. So, this was a list that you got from, I think it was from, what was the company we hooked?
Dunhill. I actually asked you, and you told me to reach out to Dunhill. But I'm gonna say this: you said there was a couple of ways I can do it. I could dig deep, or I could target a zip code. And I said, let me just target a zip code that I actually liked, something I liked, and it worked out.
So we used Dunhill to send it out to owner-occupied or absentee owners.
Yes. So it was actually owner-occupied.
Right. Exactly. So owner-occupied. The person got your postcard the first mailing, right?
Yes, the first mailing.
So they got your
the time it was great.
So, because normally that first mailing is going to give you the most calls, but it doesn't necessarily going to give you the most deals. But that's great. The first mailing, and it was how many did you mail out to?
I mailed out about 1,000.
So you send out 1,000 mailings on that first mailing. You got a boatload of calls. I think you said you got something like 8 calls, 10 calls.
Yeah, about 8-10 calls, and one of the calls was this woman from Odenton.
Okay, so let's tell me about the deal. What was the deal? Let's go over some numbers. You got the property under contract for what dollar amount?
$236,000.
So you got it under contract for $236,000, and that $236,000 has an after repair value of how much?
$340,000.
$340,000. So right away you got some equity in there. How much work is needed to get it to that 340?
I say between 8,000 to 10,000.
So you got 230 in there. You're in at 240, 236, 246, and you got a value of 340. Now you're going to basically tip the property over subject to, because this way you don't have to worry about coming up with money to buy. You don't have to worry about hard money lenders. You're taking the property subject to, right?
Yes.
And let's finish this story. Not only have you taken it subject to, you've already closed on it. When did you have the closing on this one?
Actually, I closed on it last Friday. I think it was last week. Yeah.
So you closed on this deal last Friday at the title company. You used my lawyer, Brian Gormley. Tell you guys right now, how'd you like working with Brian?
Oh, Brian was excellent. I mean, everything. He just did everything to a T, and he made everyone feel comfortable, and he explained everything. I mean, every little word, letter. I mean, she's, the homeowner said she was overwhelmed with information.
You want them to be, because you need to understand that during a subject to deal, you're not promising anything. You're taking over making the payments for them. So they're going to still be on the actual mortgage. You're just going to be added to the deed. You're going to be on the deed. Have to have a title company that knows how to do subject to deals and so on. And not to mention, Brian is one of the best real estate attorneys out there. So big shout out to my man, Brian Gormley. He does all of our creative deal structures and so on. So you got the deal under contract. You already closed on it. You're currently starting to do the work on it, right?
Yes, already starting to do the work. Actually, after I finish with you this morning, I'm actually going to go pick up some guys, and we're going to unload some of the trash that's in there. So, yeah, I'm hands-on. And
you're actually structured the deal to go over the actual deal structure of the subject to.
Okay, so the homeowner's getting $13,000 from the deal.
Okay.
She's going to be paid that after the property is sold. So you put it on the contract for $236, and then after that, once the property's fixed, the ARV is $340 once it sells, and then the homeowner gets their money. Then we get ours.
So we set the deal up so that the homeowner is paid as soon as you sell the property, correct?
Correct.
They're going to get $13,000. You're going to be $26,000 totally in with the $10,000 in repairs. So you're at $236 plus $26. That's what, $262?
Yes, somewhere around there, around $262.
So you're at $262 at that point with an after repair value of $340. You should be walking away with somewhere around $45,000-$50,000 in your pocket.
Those are wonderful words you're saying to me, Charles. I appreciate it.
well, Frank, come on now. We walked through this deal together. You already know what the numbers look like. So
yeah, I know. It sounds good. Yeah, I hear from you.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man, that's great.
I know. I love real estate. That's my favorite saying. Yeah. Now, this is only one of 6 deals you got. So this is the key to this man right here. He's only been doing this now in the Mastermind for just 90 days. 90 days. And he's got 6 deals in 90 days. What are some of those other deals you got right now?
There's one deal I have in Wynn Oak. That one, I had got that off a pre-foreclosure. The actual guy that owns the property lives in Florida.
Okay. And what's the name of it again?
Oak Hill Avenue.
No.
It's in Wynn Oak.
Okay, because when you said it the first time, you said it like somebody's not from Maryland. It sounded like you said Wynn Oak.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay. It's pronounced.
I'm new today. I'm new to that area. I haven't, this is my first time marketing over there.
I know. I told you that's one of my favorite zip codes. So now, so you got the deal in Wynn Oak. This was a what type of deal was it?
This was a pre-foreclosure.
And we talked about that deal, the structure of that deal, and what did that structure look like?
Well, basically, the homeowner is living in Florida, and the house itself, it's been sitting, and it has a lot of damage. So he was, actually, I contacted him perfect time where he just wanted to see what he can do with the property, and I said it can be bought. But after contacting you and we talked, it had to have a short sale because there was so much damage. There's mold from the ceiling of the property all the way to the basement. You must walk in there with one of those gas masks, one of those masks. That's how bad it is.
Now I told you that's not mold, that's money. That's money from the top of the ceiling to the bottom of the actual floors. And I like to describe those properties as they're tore up from the floor up. So exactly. Yeah. So those are money makers. Now this is a deal you structured short sale. That's going to be a home run. What's the other one you got?
The other one I have is a deal in Capitol Heights. That's a townhouse, and that's another pre-foreclosure. This one, I contacted her on the phone, and she was just ready to sell. She was tired of it.
Nice. So you love those 30 days late on their mortgages, don't you, buddy? No, I'm just joking with you. You know that's a strategy.
It kind of works.
Exactly. Motivation, that's your key. Now, what does the numbers look like on that first deal when you close it? That first deal, the Gwynn Oak deal. What do the numbers look like?
The numbers look like $30K on my offer, and let's see, the ARV is 210.
Ooh.
Yes. So
210 ARV, you get it at 30K. What's the rehab look like?
I'm putting the rehab between about 80K. I'll put it at 80K.
So you're looking at 30 plus 80, that's 110,000. You're going to walk away with close to 80,000 in your pocket on that one.
Those are, once again, I said those are wonderful numbers.
Okay, what's this other one you got? What does the numbers look like on that one? The one we just got finished talking about.
The other one on in Capitol Heights. Now that one is around, I guess my offer is at 95K. The ARV is 250, and it needs about, this is like, not too bad. I say it needs about 35K, new.
Okay. That's going to be about So that means Frank dinner's on Frank then, right?
Yes, multiple dinners, not just one, multiple dinners.
So Frank gonna take his mentor out to dinner. I love that one, man. That's I'm telling you right now, that's the reason why I work with you guys, because you guys take me out to dinner. No, you're not just taking me, you take my wife out too. So
okay, hey, it's not a problem. If I can keep getting deals like this, not a problem.
Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm going to have one of them signs in front of me to say I work for food. So exactly. I'm working for a little bit more than just food, man. So forget about that. But anyway, now, how does somebody who 90 days in the program, you got 6 deals, what does your day look like? How many people are in your company right now?
Well, basically, I started out by myself making the calls, and I was calling on Mojo, which you recommended to me. So I started calling on that, and then once I seen that it was starting to build up, I hired a VA. Actually, I hired 2 VA make the calls.
Gotcha.
Now I had one of the VAs I had to train because she wasn't that good. She was more reading on scripts, sounding like a robot instead of someone that wants to talk to someone on the phone. And had another guy that was experienced, but we didn't last too long because for some reason he just didn't want to work full days.
So these VAs are in the Philippines.
Yes.
And you got them from what company?
Online PH.
Love the company because they're supposed to come already trained. They're supposed to come already have some knowledge in what they're doing. But that's fine, because you, as that investor, you have to understand that every aspect of your business that you're doing, you have to at least know how it should be done right in order for you to train somebody. So the good part is you had already done it before, so you knew exactly what it's supposed to be. So when this guy was acting up, wasn't doing his job, you knew how to go into Mojo, how to check his time and see that this guy was just basically not doing his job.
Exactly. And that's a big key. If you hire a VA, you must be checking on them. If not, they will take you for a ride. I mean, I literally had this guy call me up and say he logged on and he was working, he was making the calls. And I logged on and I see he wasn't logged on and he didn't make no calls. He made it sound so sweet, like, oh man, I just talked to like 30 people already. Sounds good. And he didn't do anything.
Wow. Now,
Yeah.
let's move past him, because you found the perfect lady. The perfect lady to make the calls. It took you a couple of days to train her. When we talk about a couple of days, we're talking about 2 or 3 hours per day, right?
Yes.
So you
Yes, about 2 or 3 hours a day.
And that training that you had with her consisted of what?
Consisted of me talking to her over the phone, and I would let her read the script. I would give her a script and read it, and I was the homeowner.
Right. So you played the role of the homeowner.
A homeowner that has the rest to work. Yeah, so a homeowner, that has to go to work. So different types of homeowners. That way she can kind of know how to handle each situation.
Right. And we talked about that in one of the mastermind meetings about building rapport. You're not there to buy the house. You're there to build rapport. So in other words, you should be listening twice as much as you're talking. If you're not doing that, then you're failing what that person's supposed to do, which is to get the appointment. Eventually, you want them to get the appointment, but you want to also have that person develop that relationship, that your company cares about their situation and more than about their property. That's the rapport building you want to do.
Exactly. You must talk to the person and then understand. Like I have one person that I've been on one house I've been talking to. I mean, they've literally adopted me. I mean, I know the mother, the father, the sister, the brother, everyone. So I know what's going on, what's happening. But because I have that rapport, I talk to them, and I don't talk about the house. Most of my conversation goes on other things, and then eventually we'll come to the house like, hey, how's everything with the house? Have you checked on it? Things like that.
Got you. And you told me about one story where you was getting so many calls that you actually missed an appointment that you're supposed to go on. Tell me about that one again.
Yes. That when you push yourself into it. So I booked appointments, and I missed one appointment with this one client, and she was kind of mad. So I told her, look here, you know what? Let's go out to Panera Bread. It's on me. Looks like you had a rough day. I'll take you out. Let's just go ahead and sit down and talk. We don't even have to talk about the house. Yeah, she was tickled about, because well, you don't have to talk. Yeah, don't talk about the house. That's just me and you. Just go out and just relax. And we did that. And like I said, now we still talk. Everything's okay. And then she's gonna sell me the house.
Yeah.
What more can I ask for?
Exactly. Take that, guys, as a lesson to be learned. You can get very busy in this business, but you have to also be humble. You have to admit when you're wrong and not be afraid to admit when you're wrong during this process. So you've gotten your team together. You have you and you have one VA. I think you're using Mojo Dollar to make the calls, right?
Yes, I'm using Mojo Dollar.
And you're using what else?
CallRail.
Okay.
Twillo.
Okay.
And Podio.
Now, your Podio setup is primo. Ask me how I know.
It's because you set it up for me, Charles. Charles is a genius when it comes to these applications, and he did everything for me, and I've been using it ever since, and I can't complain at all.
Well, I mean, the way we got the Podio set up, it auto follows. And tell me how the experience was when you're showing your actual VA the system.
Well, when I broke everything down, I started to let my VAC go into the system and show her everything. The first thing she said was, "Did you have a web designer or professor do this?" I said, "No, it was my mentor, but you might as well call him that. We call him the mad scientist."
Well, I can't take credit for it, because my Podio developer, I worked with him for a good 3-4 months on all the tuning of the apps and stuff we added into the Podio system that I give you guys as mastermind students. And that this system is just, there's nothing better than it, because it does everything from follow-up to text message to making offers to scraping for leads. It does everything. So I can't take credit for developing it. I can take credit for this is what I want in it. Let's go ahead and work with it. And my developer, Joffrey, is the one that really did the hard lifting. That's not something that I did. Now,
he did a great job.
Absolutely. So let's go into, you got these tools, you got them working together, 6 deals in the last 90 days. What kind of challenges? I mean, do you have a life? How many hours are you actually working in your business, man?
Let's see. I say about 3. I'm trying to ramp it up to 4 hours a day, Monday through Saturday.
Okay. So Sunday is a day of rest.
Yeah. Needed a day of rest for Sunday with the family.
Exactly. So, I mean that you work a full-time job and you doing real estate part-time, 24 hours, 25 hours a week. Do you plan on doing real estate full-time, or you just happy with the way you got your situation situated right now?
Yeah, I plan on transitioning to real estate full-time. I mean, this, from what I'm looking at now, for me just doing this part-time, I can imagine what it can be full-time. And that's where I want to be. Absolutely.
Now, as a new investor, what kind of challenges did you face just getting over that hump, man? Because I know a lot of new investors have challenges when it comes to concentrating, putting the hours together.
Well, basically, what I do, when I log on and I check everything between Mojo Dollar and contacting, following up with all the leads from the VA, I also, talk to the homeowners. And what I'm doing right now, I'm just putting everything together. I'm just thinking of, trying to analyze the deals. I even call you on, every deal, and then that's it basically. And try to see what other tools I can do to incorporate to make it, because it does take up a lot of the time as far as, your what to think about, what to do, each deal is different.
Exactly.
And if you don't know the tool to use on that deal, you could be throwing deals away that are real money in your hand.
That's what we talk about. We talk about being a transaction engineer, man. We're like carnivores. We eat every ounce of that carcass. There's nothing that we're going to let get away. Good deal, bad deals, we can figure out ways in order to make money on that type of transaction. What kind of word of advice do you have for people who are brand new like yourself? Because I know when you're doing this business, nothing gets in the way. The hours you set aside for your business, you are so focused on doing it. It's like, this is a job. If I don't kill, I don't eat. What word of advice do you have for people who want to do what you're doing?
You try to, you're your own best motivator. You got to motivate yourself. You can do things like zone yourself out. Just find, if you're in your house, find an area where it's just you, quiet time, where you can't be disturbed. That way you can focus. Cut the TV off. I know you want to watch the sports. I know there's certain things you want to do. All that has to be put aside. And then, I'm going to tell you, this is one of the things I did as far as, I heard this from you a while back, but I've done it. You said you had on your phone a ringtone, and I do that for the people. You had a special ringtone, and when that phone rang, it was a deal. It was money coming in.
That ringtone was money, 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 money.
Yeah, so I did that. I did that, and I put it on the phone. That way, when that phone rang, I knew it was money. It got me motivated. I was jumping. I said, hey, I got to do something. I got to make it happen. And that was one of my main motivating things that I used to help me motivate.
I love it. I know, man. I mean, woo, bring back memories, boy. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a lot on tap with this project you just closed on last week. I know you're going to take care of the actual granite and stuff for the project. I appreciate you, man, taking the time to help educate people on transaction engineering and so on. Any last minute words you want to give before you have to go?
I guess as far as, doing this, whatever you do as far as how you're starting, whether you're making calls, knocking on doors, sending out flyers, whatever it is, you just got to be consistent consistent. Sometimes, if you do not see the results you want to, you're not going to work, or I'm just going to stop, or, you might just get distracted, but don't. Just stay on it. Just stay consistent, and you will see things come out.
Exactly. When you talk about knocking on doors, everybody talks about door knocking. But I'm going to give you right, guys, this is my secret weapon for door knocking. And if you implement this, you will get deals done. And this is the flyer that we use. We use this actual flyer, and actually it's actual door knocker, a door hanger. And on one side, it talks about the ways we can solve the person's problem. And on the other side, it has a $500 bill. And what we do is, and this is our whole script that we use, when we're driving for dollars in neighborhoods, what we're doing is we're looking, of course, for the worst house in the best block. But once we find that worst house in the best block, we're going to knock on that door and we're going to say, hey, Mr. Homeowner, my company, Chucky Buy Lucky Houses, we're a redevelopment company. We buy on average 5 to 7 houses a month. And we want to know, do you happen to know anybody that's interested in selling their property in the neighborhood? And if the person says no, then we would say, well, you wouldn't have to be interested in selling your property. So we just basically drop that person to the point of we're asking about individuals who they may know may be selling properties, but then we ask them about their property. You got to understand that homeowner don't want to get targeted. So that's the reason why we do it that way. So once we ask them if they they interested in selling their property, if they said no, then we'll say, okay, well, we pay anywhere between $500 to $3,000 for house information. Here's my actual door hanger. Keep this and let me know if you come across anybody that may be interested in selling. I would love to pay you that money. Take care and have a great day. Now, that's our strategy. We do anywhere between 200 to 300 of these out per week, knocking on doors. So once we knock on that targeted homeowner door, then we knock on the whole neighborhood. And that's the strategy. That's my secret weapon, guys. If you really want to take your driving for dollars to the next level, do it that way. So thank you, Frank, man. I appreciate you being on this call. I know you got a lot going on, man. But I appreciate everything, and I look forward to seeing you this weekend at the Transaction Engineer Workshop.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And I thank you, Charles, because your mentorship, everything you've done, has put me in this situation I am, and I just want to continue growing. So I appreciate everything you do, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. No problem at all. Take care, everybody. This is Charles Blair, the Mad Scientist, and I'll see you guys in the next Mastermind case study. Bye-bye.